Today, back with another video about the Korg microSAMPLER. So the Korg microSAMPLER allows you to sample into the keyboard. You can have 36 samples per bank at the same time. And what you can do, there's a keyboard mode that's here, this button. And if you have one sample like this one and you press keyboard, it populates this one sample over the entire range. Which is great, so now you can play that one sample chromatically easily over the keyboard. But there's something going on with the microKORG, because if you don't engage the keyboard mode and you put the sample, for instance, here, so I sampled one note from the Rev2 synthesizer onto key number 25, and the keyboard mode is actually not activated, but the rest of the sample slots are empty, it populates it automatically, or it maps it automatically down the keyboard. But it doesn't go up. So it only pitches it down automatically. So that got me thinking, is like if you place every octave one sample, you basically can create a multi-sampled instrument in the Korg microSAMPLER without using the keyboard mode. So if you're still with me, why is this cool? Creating multi-sampled instruments gives you more control, more detail, and you can do this easily in Ableton Sampler or in Kontakt or ESX in Logic. But to find this functionality on a hardware keyboard is a bit more rare. So let me just explain you how it looks like in Ableton. So if you open a sampler in Ableton, there's the zone, and you get this part, and here you can drop samples and then set the keyboard zone. So you can have one sample for octave C0, one sample for C1, one for C2, etc. And with this technique of not using the keyboard mode on the microKORG and just strategically placing these samples every octave, you can basically establish the same thing. So let me demonstrate that by you by sampling 4 notes from the Rev2 synthesizer that I have here next to me into the microKORG to create this multi-sampled instrument. So the first thing to do is to clear the bank. So now there's no samples on this bank. We have 36 pots. There are 37 keys, but this one is for letting the audio through. So the first sample is going to be on key number 36, which is the highest B on the keyboard. Then it's going to be this 25, the C, 13, and then the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 samples, 3 times a C and 1 times a B. And then the B maps it down, the C, this octave, and then the lowest note, there's nothing below it. So then we have 4 samples to cover this 3-octave keyboard. The sound that I have on the Rev2 is a kind of bass patch, it's monophonic, and it sounds like this. So this is going to be the lowest note that I'm going to sample. Then this C. Is the highest note. So we start with this one. So in order to sample onto the right key, I just press the key on the microKORG, press sample, and now I play the key on the Rev2, then I press sample, and then I stop sampling. So now I have a sample on key number 36. And of course, this sample is going to map down all the way if I don't have any other samples here. So now, so it doesn't sound bad, but I want to have more samples. So what I'm going to do now next is press this key, number 25, go into sampling mode. And then the next sound is here on spot number 13, another C. And then the last sample on the first key. So as you can hear, there are now 4 samples mapped over the keyboard. So on key number 1, 13, 25 and 36. And basically in this way I created a multi-sampled instrument without using the keyboard mode. And especially when you have sounds that are more complex, that if you pitch them down, they're starting to deform. This is a way to kind of circumvent that by having at least 1 sample per octave. Of course, you can have multiple samples per octave. Having 1 sound per octave is still quick, but you get also a better quality. The only thing what you have to keep in mind now, that if you are going to edit, use one of the parameters like the level or the pan or the decay or any of those kind of parameters that you change on the sample, you have to change it on each sample. So you have to change it 4 times in order to make sure that it's actually coming across. So let's change, for instance, the decay of the first sample. Make it really short. If I only change it on this sample, then you see that the rest is still the same. So that's something to keep in mind. The effects are global effects, so there it doesn't matter. Let's see what effect I have here. But you still need to engage the effect for each sample. But then if we play around with the effect, it should apply to all the sounds. As it does, it's just that you have to press the effects button to engage the effects. So now it's not engaged on this sample, but on the other ones it is. This was just a quick thing that I found out about the Korg sampler. I don't know if you have been using this for a while, you might have come across this, but I thought it is a nice little hack into creating multi-sampled instruments on a hardware device. If you have any other kind of tips and tricks for sampling into this device, let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, keep making music, and see you in the next one.